What's good, y'all? We back at it. Episode 3. You know what I'm saying? You see the title, what y'all been waiting for. We got the Rodney King beating, uncovering that, and the story of OJ. The real story of OJ, the people versus OJ Simpson. Uncovering why that was staged, and much more. All through the numbers. Alright, and I figured out what I'm going to call this podcast from now on. From this day forward, this podcast will be called Nothing But Facts. Because that's all I'm giving y'all, just nothing but facts with history and math. I mean, that's all you really need to understand this code, understand the rituals that go on all the time. And shout out to my guy at the PT clinic, job shadowing that helped me come to that conclusion. I had like a bunch of names, but Nothing But Facts stuck the best, so I'm going to stick with it. And the slogan, which I just made up myself from the poll I did, I'm gonna call it, the slogan gonna be the raw, uncut truth, because that's all I'm gonna give y'all. Y'all raw, uncut, one take. We're just gonna get it started. But little recap, last episode we talked about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, and how the numbers 39 and 93 show up a lot, including like 65, 165 as you're seeing on your screen right here. So much more. And you know, if you're new here, you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about rituals, ciphers, and all this. I use this for a little example. So basically, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, all their names equal 93. And how I know this, you go up here, and this is where you learn the cipher. These are the ciphers. They're 4 base ciphers. You got the English ordinal, 4 reduction, reverse ordinal, and reverse 4 reduction. So if I put in Malcolm X, it comes out to be 93 in the English ordinal. And the English ordinal, basically A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, like you know in school, all the way to Z is 26. The reverse ordinal is the same thing but backwards, where Z is 1, all the way to A is 26. And you got full reduction, where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way to the 9th letter, resets. Then you got J is 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9th letter, R resets, S to the end. And then reverse full reduction is the same thing, just in reverse. Z is 1, Y 2, X 3, all the way to the 9th letter, R, reset. So basically you just put in the word. So Malcolm X, we see, comes out to 93. If I put in Martin Luther King Jr., just gonna copy and paste, make it a little faster. Full reduction comes out to 93 for Martin Luther King. Rosa Parks, her name comes out to 93 in the full reduction too. And the day, and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X only met on one day, just one time, on a specific day, March 26, 1964. And you also learn that the numerology dates, how you basically there's different formulas to figure out the dates you take, but it's usually always involving the month, the day, and the year, and how you break them up just depends on what formula you're going for. So in this one, we just take 3 plus 26 plus 64, and that gives you 93 from March 3, 26, and instead of 1964, you just take the 64, gives you another 93 connection. So that's on that, and I explain more on the last episode, so go check that out if you want to learn what I did with the rest of it. But today, we are talking about beating of Rodney King, which happened on March 3rd, 1991. March 3rd, remember that date. All right, so, and he died at the age of 47. And something to realize, a lot of these numbers, just for Freemasonic rituals, just in general, Freemasonic rituals, because that's what it is all. That's who's behind all this: the Jesuits, the Freemasons, all these Masonic practices, satanic practices, ran by the church, the Roman Catholic Church. You feel me? But 47 and 33 and 74, they come up very, very often in news headlines, news stories, and all that. But just seeing the day he died, or the age he died at the age of 47 years old, reportedly drowned from intoxication of alcohol and cocaine, I guess, in his pool. Saw one report how he happened in his pool, just playing to the stereotype, black people can't swim stereotype. You seen him with Whitney Houston drowning in her bathtub. Michael Jackson drowning on pill overdose, and just so much more. There's always dying by these drowning rituals, like these drowning type of scenario deaths, just way too often. So, but it wasn't that. He didn't die. He didn't drown. He didn't die from drowning is what I mean. But he died from the Masonic Mafia. And it's some racist act. And you take racist equals 47. So show y'all Mafia equals 47 in Jewish gematria. So racist. Let me pull it up so y'all can see the rest. Alright, so racist in the reverse full reduction gives you 47. And then Mafia, you don't see it in the 4 base ciphers, but it said it in Jewish gematria, which is you would go up here, these are your base, so you go to all ciphers. And not to confuse you too much, but like here it is 47 in Jewish gematria, and you have all these other ciphers that pertain to a lot of other things or connections, but not to confuse you too much. Like we'll dabble more into it just as we go on in the episode. But just to not confuse you too much, we're just going to stick to the base ciphers for right now. But Mafia, you saw the 47 connection. But 30 years after his death, after Rodney King died, y'all remember this in 2015, there's a Christian black church that was shot up by an MK Ultra victim. Not to laugh right now, but like his name is Dylan Stormroof. Bro, I don't know if that's just his government given name, because the MK Ultra, if you don't understand what the MK Ultra is, Project MK Ultra, also called the CIA Mind Control Program, is a code name given to a program of experiments on human subjects where they're designed, basically it's just mind control, where they can control your mind, brainwash you, do these crazy acts for the cause of order and chaos, which is their motto. The Freemason motto. What happened in Charleston, South Carolina, key number is 106. But man, that's tough. I mean, his name's Dylan Stormroof. Bro, that man probably had a tough childhood, bro. Dylan Stormroof. Were they just the roofs, and they just said, hey man, it's like just talking to like the husband talking to the wife, like, honey, I think we should just name him Stormroof. Middle name Storm. Anyway, man, don't even matter. But Rodney King died 106 days after his birthday. Alright. And you see, you type in gematria. Authority equals 106. Reverse ordinal. Alright. And this is by the police. This is in LA, where the LA riots occurred after this beating. The police, putting police equals 33. So police equals 33. LAPD. Goodness, man, I'm over here struggling with my typing. LAPD equals 33. And remember how it said, remember the date March 3rd? March 3rd happened on this date for a reason. Like I'm telling you, March 3rd can be written 33, another 33. Race war, 33. 33. KKK, 33. And this happened in Los Angeles, and the area code for Los Angeles for LA is 213. Racism equals 213. And this is in Jewish gematria again. 213. Excuse me, my bad. Black History Month equals 213. King was beaten on a date with 26 numerology, and how I said you got the different formulas. This one you have them broken up all in the single digits, so 3 plus 3 plus 3. Get that out the way. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1 gives you 26. Chaos equals 26. How I said Freemason motto: order out of chaos. All right, you got these are the ones running the game, running everything, running the show. Beats equals 26. Riot equals 26. All right, he got beat right before his 26th birthday. And on April 29th, which is the 119th day of the year, because again, this is how like they play. If you're like getting confused on like why this number, this is how they do the code to make themselves look, they be slick about it. Go over people's head if you don't understand the code, how they run by these numbers. Numbers are everything to these people, everything. Whether it's like 100 and this days from your birthday, or 33 weeks from this event, or 256 or 201 years from this event. They play by these numbers from days all the way, from years to the minutes, consistently all the time, and they put in the headline news because most people don't pick up on it. But anyways, so the 119th day of the year, April 29th, 1992. This is the day the police officers were acquitted. Nothing happened to them. They didn't get no jail time or whatever. No repercussions, no proper consequences like the public would like to see. Oh yeah, and if you just to see like what they got away with.
Now the story that might never have surfaced.
Just to show y'all real quick.
If someone hadn't picked up his home video camera. We've all seen the pictures of Los Angeles police officers beating a man they had just pulled over. The city's police chief said today he will support criminal charges against some of the men. Here's ABC's Gary Shepard.
The 3 police officers facing felony criminal charges were among a group of 15 who stopped a 25-year-old black man last Saturday night, then beat him, kicked him, and clubbed him, unaware that an amateur photographer was recording the incident on videotape. Los Angeles Police Chief Daryl Gates looked at the tape and said he thinks assault with a deadly weapon will be one of the charges.
In our review, we find that the officers struck him with batons between 53 and 56 times. One officer rendered 6 kicks and one officer 1 kick.
Civil rights organizations say the Los Angeles Police Department has a history of brutality and misconduct that goes back a quarter of a century, including one incident that sparked the Watts riots. So far this year, there have been more than 125 complaints of police misconduct filed with watchdog organizations.
We no longer want to have to wake up each morning not knowing what fear to expect next.
And this is almost 30 years ago, but looks a lot like today. But also, yeah, so you heard him right before his 26th birthday. And and just how it, also connects to what you've been seeing today. This kind of has a parallel, because a lot of this is psychological operations to create racial divisions, create chaos, create these unstable environment, like these things to where people are just going, just hating each other, divide and conquer. That's their game, and this is the way they do it. But basically on the geometryeffect.news, back during the whole George Floyd, because there's a parallel between Rodney King and the George Floyd situation that happened earlier this year. How it happened on the 119th day of the year. So, like I mentioned, unrest South Central LA on April 29th after the acquitted officers of the Los Angeles, police department didn't, give them the right consequences. And George Floyd, if you put it in, equals 119. Fraternal Order of Police equals 119. And he was beat March 3rd, like 33. March 3rd, 1991. LAPD equals 33. Like all these 33s, like I mentioned, police. But Masonry equals 33, federal equals 33, secrecy equals 33, order equals 33, like the Masonic order. Feel me? And this is like one of the earlier, you know, one of the first vids that you saw like went viral right after the George Floyd beating. That happened on East 33rd Street. And I don't even know if this is, I wonder if you can see it. Let me see. Alright, can't really watch it. But it didn't even really look, it kind of also kind of looks staged too. Just the way that this whole, like, they're just throwing stuff at the cars and everything. But just the area it's at, 33rd Street. It's all like it is. Psychological operations. Tied in with Corona. But going on, so happened. So most of the riots happened on the 33rd parallel, like on the coordinates, 33rd parallel north, in between South Central and Compton. Compton equals 33. April 29th, 4/29, another numerology equation or formula. 4 plus 29 gives you 33. Fraternal Order of Police, 119. RK, his initials, 9 gives you 911. So R is his 18th letter. Rules of numerology turns it to 9 because 1 plus 8 equals 9. K is the 11th letter. Gives you that 911, 911, 156 prime number. And if you put in, then if you put in 33, put in 33 back to the base ciphers, it gives you 156. All right. So, and later that year, you had more race riots break out in Brooklyn, New York. The Orthodox Jews versus the black citizens from Crown Heights neighborhood, Brooklyn, New York. So Brooklyn, New York gives you 223. And I'm not gonna code every single one of these because just to save time. So if you know it's a Gematrinator, cite the Gematrinator, you can code along with me. And or just spot check me if you want. So one of the black children reportedly died on August 19th, 1991. So August 19th gives you a numerology of 118. Death equals 118 in Jewish gematria. August 19th, another numerology formula gives you 137. Again, the 33rd prime. And it said the kid that died was Guyanese. Guyanese equals 119. Orthodox equals 119. Star of David equals 119. Crown Heights equals 58. We'll see some more connection with 58 later. And the riots ended on August 21st and led to the defeat of New York Mayor David Dinkins in 93. Emphasis on 93. Like I just mentioned earlier, just in the preview of the recap from last episode, all the 93s that also stand throughout Black history. But reason in 93, who was the first and the last African American New York mayor. So he lost the election because he was weak. It made him look weak because he didn't execute enough force against the riots that were going on, which only had two reported deaths. So that was enough for him not to be reelected unjustly or unfairly, if you ask me. So you see, it's his name, David Dinkins. David Dinkins. Hold up. Gives you 93. 93. Yeah, and the single reduction KV cipher. And 44 in the septenary cipher. And that's more in the Rodney King beating, which also ties into the People versus O.J. Simpson. So now we're transitioning to O.J. Simpson. All right, they're on that story of O.J. beat for him. All right.